Have you ever been drunk or high and came up with this truly amazing idea, but then became sober and realized it wasn't as amazing as you thought it was? If so, what was the idea? To have a fast food spot that sold frozen meals already cooked. Like you can order a heated up hot pocket, toaster strudel, chicken pot pie, etc. Whilst high, I came up with the idea of making pens with white ink that would cover up any mistakes on white paper. I realized not only that it had been done already, but that I had one in my backpack next to where I keep the pen I used to write down the idea. Edit. Mr. Word. A food truck specializing in egg rolls the size of burritos. Running for my local school board, I had a lot of issues with the way the education works in our country and believed the best way to fix the system was by running an honest campaign and promising to fight for the change that would help kids learn better. Ultimately, I sobered up and realized an at the time unemployed, stoned 24-year-old with no kids was not the best candidate. A friend of mine called me around 3:00 in the morning about a fantastic, groundbreaking idea he had for getting sunburn on your feet. He wears Crocs a lot, so I was actually kinda interested. Okay, so, like, cloth or something you can put on your feet that would keep you from getting sunburn from the holes. Socks. He was describing socks. While taking what I thought was acid and turned out to be a 25N boom. I was beyond confident that I had not only finally understand the truest deepest secret of the universe, but that I had distilled the idea into an image that could be drawn out. I was certain that with that image I could remember everything about the true universal secrets. When I came down X200B the next day, I looked at the paper and it was a line with a circle on each end, like a dumbbell. I have no idea what it means. One time I woke up in the middle of the night with an idea, a revolutionary idea, something I needed to write down as fast as possible so I wouldn't forget. So I wrote it down and went back to sleep. I woke up, looked at the piece of paper, and all it said was Pennzoil mini wheats. I've never quite figured out what I was thinking. Sugar bags. Like tea bags but for sugar. Tea and 2 sugars. 1 tea bag. 2 sugar bags. As we were stoned as FCK, my cousin holding up an empty tea bag filled with sugar and me trying to carefully tie it back up with a piece of cotton. My cousin disappointingly says sugar cubes. King Kong but with a giraffe. A thing you put on the laptop charger thing that gets hot which keeps your cheese dip hot. I got high one time and thought of a great business idea where everyone pays money to a pot and one person wins it all. Turns out the lottery already exists. My friend is a lawyer and when he was in law school did a summer internship to Ghana studying international law. We were like 2 blunts deep and he came up with the brilliant idea to make chairs in Ghana because everyone he saw there was just sitting on the ground. He was convinced we could have made a fortune selling chairs. The TV show Cheaters, except with stray cats. Candid cameras catching cats being unfaithful with other neighborhood cats and a human host interviewing the cats getting cheated on. Just like the TV show. Still kinda want this to be a thing in a sober mindset. I had this idea that the Taken films should each focus on a different set of skills. Like Liam Neeson could be an amazing chef in Taken 2, and perhaps a postman in Taken 3. X-Acto spoon. It is an X-Acto knife, only a spoon. I thought it would be practical if you would have a tag with your address written on it attached to your keys, so if you ever lost them, they can be sent back. Seemed brilliant to me. Thieves might enjoy this idea as well. When I did shrooms, I came up with the absolutely genius idea that NASA should employ young children and send them to space for missions because they have more natural curiosity and aren't jaded yet by adulthood, and they might notice things that a more experienced astronaut would miss because they'll look from a different perspective. I was convinced I needed to email NASA right away and tell them about my brilliant epiphany. Edit. Apparently I really need to watch Space Camp and the Astronauts and read the Endless Game series. I appreciate all the kind comments and awards. My notes app is full of liquor weed soaked epiphanies and revelations from my younger years. My favorite reads, "Any boy that has the pineapple is a good boy." I had this idea for a movie in a similar vein of Cabin in the Woods, where these people move into a haunted house, except the plot is from the antagonist's perspective, where the ghosts haunting the house treat it like a job, and have interviews in front of a camera, reality show style, venting about how tedious the little aspects of the job are. The premise was this ghost had reluctantly picked up and followed this family to this new house in order to keep haunting them, and inadvertently stepped on another ghost's jurisdiction, and the bicker about who haunts who. Antics ensue. I realize now that this is more or less just what we do in the shadows. Damn you, take a Reddit. Alright guys. I'm trying to make it as a musician and have made decent progress so far, and when I do, I'll go the Atlanta or Dave route and bring this up in a hopefully eventual pitch meeting. Thanks for your encouragement y'all, and please don't steal my idea, maybe. Give me 5 years. I have a running note on my phone with my ideas I have while intoxicated. I think my best one is what if there was a Queer Eye spin-off called Third Eye, where hippies and conspiracy theorists try to awaken people who are already happy with their lives. Most of them are just done with such highlights as future math will be cool and there's a lot of cute animal behavior. I was thinking that kids these days need more time on the road to be better drivers, so maybe Uber should partner with driving education groups and like subsidize them or pay the kids in college bonds or whatever. Yeah, maybe hiring a bunch of terrible drivers for your taxi services isn't such a great idea. Turn signals on grocery carts. My grand idea was to put caramelized onions in my hamburger helper. Yeah, it was good, but not as mind-blowing as I thought it would be when I was high as a kite. A pot or bowl with holes in it, so that you didn't have to use a wire mesh strainer to strain spaghetti. I had drawings and everything. People around me were like, shit, this thing is going to make millions. Next day, dude, that's a calendar. My niece drunk texted me and went on and on about her idea for party popper tampons. She wanted to make tampons that shot out string and confetti when you pulled the string. It was all something about women celebrating their freedom and vaginas. It was a very confusing 2 AM series of texts when she was just supposed to let me know she made it home safe from her night out. One time when I was tripping, I wrote down this whole page of numbers and swore it was the answer. The answer to what? I don't know lol. I just kept saying it's all about the digits. Beer rocks. When drinking at an outdoor place, using plastic cups, you put fancy rocks in your beer so the cups don't blow over. Genius. Here's a good one from my list of Heidi's dumpsters, trash cans, and dives. Live stream dumpster diving, like American Picker Storage Wars, but completely bullshit pricing guesses with fake accents. Yep. Pre-melted cheese edit. Okay, I feel the need to clarify as people are saying nacho cheese or Velveeta or cheese whiz. I was so baked. My idea was pre-melted cheese, like a boil in the bag rice, but for cheese, like a block of cheddar cheese in a sandwich bag and boiled till molten, and then it stayed molten, like didn't solidify, and I could just pour it on stuff. Like I was so high, I literally forgot all the aforementioned products existed, and though I was going to be a ducking millionaire, then started to talk with my friends about where I should live, be it LA or New York, in a penthouse suite, and have a butler and maids and it. Then I came to after passing out at some point, and I remember the entire conversation and think, holy ducking god, I'm a ducking moron. Once while high, my friends came up with an online call center for people who have anxiety while high to call. It was named TripAdvisor. Not me, but Paul McCartney. The first time he got high, he apparently discovered the meaning of life and immediately went to write it down. When he woke up the next morning, he looked at the paper and it said there are 7 levels. I was on acid and had a revelation that I had to make the next Google. I have no idea what it means to be the next Google, but regardless, it felt like the best idea in the world. The feeling of checking my notes app the next day for the grand idea I had and seeing be the next Google was hilarious. When a football match goes into extra time, they should add a second ball. If it gets to halftime without anyone scoring, they add a third ball. I'm actually not sure this idea is a bad one. Always felt free throws in basketball slowed the game down too much. Felt instead they should have dunks instead. where the player that was fouled has a running start from the 3-point line and the one who committed the foul is at the basket defending against the dunk. I suppose this could turn into an endless loop of fouling. I thought I invented breakfast tacos. When I shared my invention with my friends they asked me if I intended the wheel too. Apparently there was this guy who swore that he knew the perfect answer to all life's problems when high on ever, but couldn't remember it when he came round. He managed, at one point, to write down his magical idea whilst he had the inspiration, in order to read it when sober. When he came round from his BNGE he had a scrumpled up bit of paper in his hand reading a smell of petroleum prevails throughout. A fire starting service. Just go around, build fires for people, tend to them, drink beer. Boom. Then I wasn't high anymore. I ran upstairs and yelled at my husband, why don't they make mittens for feet? And he said, you mean socks? And I said, oh yeah, socks. Got really high and had the sudden realization that things that are lighter than air are the things that float. I wondered there's more than just helium that's lighter than air contents. How come we don't have other ways to fill balloons and stuff? Then my friend goes, ever heard of the Hindenburg Dumbus? Myself and 2 friends were extremely high and extremely hungry. We put all our money together and said that we would buy the most amount of food for the amount of money we had gathered. We had a total of 16. So our thought process was we could order 16 portions of chips french fries for you Americans. We had to call the takeaway 3 times before they would believe that it wasn't a prank. We convinced them we were throwing a party. The takeaway finally delivered it and myself and my other friend were too high to go to the door. So we made friend 3 go by himself. All of the lights were off and there was no music playing, so the delivery driver delivered 16 portions of chips to one man alone. From his perspective, needless to say, 16 portions of chips is too much food between 3 people.